Hey everybody, welcome to today's vlog. I had made a really long one, and we'll see how long this one gets. But let me start with Leave Chris Pirillo alone! No, I'm just kidding. That's like, Chris Crocker. But before I get into the whole Chris Pirillo graveyard, non-graveyard, I saw Joan Rivers last night because that sounds just like Joan Rivers. With Brad Garrett. That was pretty fun. A lot of fun last night at the Westbury, over at the Long Island, in the middle of the woods. What? Pretty crazy. It's the weekend. Football, soccer's going on. West Ham won, so congratulations to West Ham. Okay, big thing. Chris Pirillo being attacked by people on Google Plus over his comments that he made on Seattle Fox recently, and the whole Google Plus being a ghost town, and maybe his love of Facebook and buying IPO there, or more about bodies and graveyards and ghost town comments. Now, the graveyard ghost town Google Plus comment didn't start with Chris Pirillo, as you all know. It started way back, many centuries ago, with all the not that long ago, with all the many press and people talking and writing stories. Okay, but the thing is, Google Plus is definitely not a ghost town. It's definitely not a graveyard. We love it. I love it. And I believe Chris loves it. I don't talk for Chris, but I consider him a friend. He jumped into hangouts with me on air and off. And others. He's always been posting, and he's always jumped in and interacted with me and with others beforehand. He was always approachable and was never an a-hole. He was like, oh, I only got 15 minutes, and he spent hours with us. And we talked in that big Conversations Plus and our Hangout Conversations about Google Plus and whether they get social or not. And Rick and Bradley were watching, who haven't yet been on my show. Not that that's a measurement. Chris was on before they've been on. And Chichu and Dave Bennett were just on, so in fairness, there's that. Not that I am the measurement of Google Plus and all the activity and engagement. Not at all. No. Anyway, I need some coffee. So Google Plus, right? To us, we've used it since the beginning. We're all about jumping on it, and we were on it since beta and all that. A lot of us, not all of us, hanging out and posting, and so there were less people, and we were adding people at random, or not, some of you, and discovering people. So we didn't really, there was no just users, there was none of that. And a lot of us have used Facebook and Twitter, still do. This whole culture of I hate Facebook, I hate Twitter, I love Google Plus, or I love Android and hate iPhone, whatever. I think that you can do that if you want to, but there should be nothing wrong with liking all of it and using all of it. And I think that as a social media person, as Chris is, and I am not to the same degree, but still, it is hard to be everywhere and see all the things all the time, and especially as more followers and engagement and popularity and all that happens, there are more things that happen. What he said a lot of things that make sense. He said you could have 5,000 people that love your stuff and follow your stuff and engage with you, and then you could have 500,000 people and not even have 500 people of those really following your stuff. And I think that that's a valid point across all platforms, especially Google Plus. And so he makes a lot of sense. Whether you agree with buying Facebook IPO and he thinks Instagram was a good purchase, maybe, and I don't think Instagram was a terrible purchase. Maybe they paid too much money for it. Who knows? I mean, what things are really worth or what they're not really worth, that's another issue. But when it comes to Google Plus, when you use Google Plus, when you jump on the platform for the first time now, it's not spelled out for you. You see the suggested user list, and they're not necessarily all active people or engaging people. And you have to kind of weed through it. Sorry, I heard some ghosts in the background. You have to kind of weed through it and figure things out. Now, I think that Google, would benefit from having more creative people, more social people, consulting and working for them and blah, blah, blah. Not that they don't have some of those, but people that had a bigger voice and really stood out and said, this is really, and supposedly a lot of people internally at Google said, we don't really like this, and we don't like that, or this or that, and we didn't like the way the new Gmail is, we don't like how Plus is here or there, and maybe they weren't totally listened to, I don't know. But I think that Google Plus is doing a disservice to its users and everything else by not having all the interaction go up, by not having people in front of them, that are active and engaging, and whatever word you want to use. people that use Google Plus, that hang out, hangouters, active hangouts on air, host, guests, everything in front of your users so they can see it and be like, oh, okay, these people are using this product. These are people that like this category or this topic. You know, show me suggested circles. You know, Google Plus, you make the suggested circles of active people and suggest them, and show shared circles in Google Plus that other people have thrown out there. All these different photography ones, all these things, cooking and art and music, and people that love Star Wars and people that love Game of Thrones and this and that. And you know, a lot of users are doing that, but how do you find those people? It's tough, you know. There's and being the suggested user list, or and Chris is, or and I know that non-celebrities, Dari Musk, Brianna Blaine, and Monica, a lot of people are on the suggested user list and they have trouble. There's a lot of notifications nonstop, a lot of things to check out, and there are a lot of things that Google Plus has. You know, Twitter goes down, Facebook has its issues, but Google Plus has bugs, and I know it's new, but now it's a year almost, and there are a lot of bugs daily. You know, I try to circle someone, it says either I hit this limit, and then I delete people, and then I still can't circle them, or I miss notifications because I get it in my email, but it's not on my notification center. I have to go search for my name or a related topic, and then sometimes I find it, sometimes I don't. It's not like I get all the information that I should get, and it's weird how one day I get something and one day I don't, and you know, it's kind of detrimental to the overall use of Google Plus. So if that happens to you out there, and whether you're for Pirillo, against Pirillo, mad about the whole thing, everyone could agree that Google Plus has bugs, whether you love Google Plus or not, and I love Google Plus, and I believe Chris loves Google Plus. You know, again, I don't speak for him, but he's engaging, he puts up posts. Now, when it comes to bugs, we all don't like the bugs, we don't like, you know, the mess-ups and notifications, and it kind of, even this new design, a lot of people were loving it because they got used to the old way, and, you know, they'll get used to the new way, but, you know, people were going off, and some of you that are like, oh man, Chris Pirillo, you wrong. How many of you said, oh, this white space, what the hell? You know, so every day a new thing happens, and I think overall Google Plus will keep going on the rise, but I think they need to help the new users out that that either don't know about Google Plus or are trying Google Plus. They need to really help them out. They really need to, even though Google, Facebook, and Twitter didn't necessarily have that education, they're all getting better at it, trying to educate. And I think Google Plus needs to be better about videos and getting, wow, this is, you know, getting long, but, you know, I said so much in my other one, and I'm looking at it, and it's up, and it says preparing for preview. Why, I know, cheese with my wine. Anyway, I'm just trying to remember all the million things that I said. But I think that it's to everyone's benefit, or at least to Google's benefit and Google Plus, to really show the people that are active, the posts that are active, the people that are doing things on here that are unique, that are different. And a lot of times they show one person or two people over and over and over again, and that's great. But those one or two people are sometimes they're very genre specific. They're very focused on maybe music, and they throw on with them and their music, which is fine. And here and there some other stuff, but they don't. Oh, telephone! I believe it's for you, Lucy. I'm not home. Yeah, so the other issue, yeah, don't get suckered by the internet phone. I mean, there's no reason for it, right? Anyway, it was Chris calling. He's like, nah, he wanted to know what the deal is. No, Chris is not paying me for this. He doesn't know I'm doing this, and I think he's a friend. He's an advocate for Google Plus for people, and I think that this idea that he's somehow destroyed Google Plus, you know, that's, you know, he's destroying it, I should say, and ranking on it. I don't think so at all. And I think that it's been overdrawn, and sure, we're not going to all agree on stuff, and I don't agree with everything he says. He said pictures was for women, and now he's kind of saying, oh, it's creative and pictures and that. So he does a little flip-flopping, and, you know, whatever. I mean, you know, we can call out on it, just did, but I think, again, Google needs to get better with social. They need to understand things better, and they need to make things a priority. They need to work on what their priorities are, and I think that fixing bugs, I know it's a complicated thing. There are so many things with social, so many different aspects of it to find a bug and fix it and keep it fixed, and everyone's experience is different. But they really need to be on top of those bugs, and I think that if I did a poll right now, would you rather have a million new features that were cool, that kind of usually worked? Or would you rather have everything now work as it should be, without bugs, without problems? So I think that that is a big thing, and that's a hinder on not just new users, but us too, people that love Google+. So tell me what you think. Do you think it's more, don't you agree? And I think Chris was saying this, that it's about really, and he should have said, just, because it's not a ghost town for Chris, it's not a ghost town for us. I mean, that's ridiculous. It's a ghost town for people that are new, that don't know how to use it, that don't take the time, even curating circles. I mean, Facebook and Twitter, you can hit follow, you can hit add a friend, and that's it. Here you have to put them in a circle, and then trying to, people really spend a lot of time with circles. Then just to do regular circles takes a lot of time. And then to say, all right, I'm moving this person here and there, or I'm taking them out of here, I'm putting them in there, and I'm creating this circle and that circle. But if I had suggested circles, and I could just hit add to those circles, they're like, oh, now I have I didn't even add people. And I know the sys list you can add all, and it's kind of like adding, a fun, interesting circle, this and that. But you're adding brands, and you're adding like big stars, which is fine, but a lot of them, some of them try to change up their content, but you're not really getting the meat of the active and engaging conversations and users. You're getting a lot of, little pieces that are not going to make your experience amazing. So I really think that Google needs to reach out. They need to continue to throw, what's hot is okay to a degree and trending, but that's not going to get suggested circles, suggested user list, which has users that are 50, 500, whatever it is, that are using Google+, and that and suggested circles and suggested hangouts and hangouts on air and people that do that and all that jazz in front of them, and a better connection, show a better graph, show a better way to say, oh look, I really love Rappaport, don't you? But then Rappaport really loves this person and that person, and I can name like, but they'll be like, what? You didn't say me? Oh. There's so many. But then you're like, oh, well, he likes that person so much, maybe I would like them. And that happens on the stream. A lot of times someone loves me and likes what I'm doing, and then they find someone else from someone that I like. And that happens with a lot of people. And it's cool to see it happen on the stream with Chef Allison, which was a great hangout last night, which was different. It was cooking, and cooking has been done, but it was new for me, and on location was a lot of fun. And he met people, and then he met people on the hangout, Mike Searle and Ermine Omir, and then two different people that were commenting, then they met each other. So that kind of thing doesn't necessarily happen on Facebook and Twitter the same way. And that kind of culture that we're doing here on Google Plus is pretty cool. It's just that people, it's something, we create this culture. It's not Google, we're doing it. We're taking the time to make all that stuff happen, and it's just how you use it. And so I'm doing my hangout conversations and all these interesting shows. And I have a lot of ideas, and I'm continuously doing that. But there's a lot of great hangouts out there, a lot of great causes. Sarah Hill's been doing the news for a long time, since the beginning, having people get to kind of eavesdrop on her news and do the finger thing that I don't. Yeah, the Komu, I should know, but I'm sorry. And then Ermine Omir just did a surgical hangout for her and make awareness of thyroid disease, and so she had the before the hangout, and then she tried to do during the hangout, but live things can go wrong. But that's up as well, the recorded part, because nothing went wrong. And I hope Ermine's recovering nicely. Paul Roustan with all the body pain hangouts, a lot of causes, a lot of music and art. Cam Meadows with hangout parties, done a lot of good stuff. So much Dan McDermott show, Peter McDermott. There's so many different kinds of hangouts, photography, oh my god. And so it's going to continue to get better and more engaging, and people, as it's just about getting people new, like I said, redundant, but new users, or people that are barely using it, or why they should use it, why, and Chris talked about solving a problem that they didn't have because people had Facebook or Twitter, but the hangouts and the interaction that you can't get on Facebook and Twitter. You have conversations on Facebook, and then you have these micro things on Twitter. But Google takes a conversation with friends that you know in real life, and these micro conversations and replies with strangers, they bridge them together to make this more interactive thing with video and with G-Talk and with the way to circle it. I circle all of it into, maybe there should be a circle of not just people, but of all the interaction and activity. Oh, this is a circle of of activity, and maybe by it, maybe people don't necessarily want to see activity, but maybe if you got an insight on people's activity that volunteered, saying this person goes does this and does that, and maybe if you tried some of the stuff that those people do, you'd be like, oh, that person hangs out here and there, and that person's posting over here, or looking at that profile, or looking at this circle. Maybe that would give you a better way to use it. I don't know. That would be an interesting experiment. But what do you think? Do you think that Chris Pirillo is getting hounded, and people are taking his comments a little too much to heart because they do love Google Plus? I love Google Plus, but again, you're allowed to agree and disagree. You're allowed to think. You're allowed to like Google Plus, Facebook, and Twitter, or one or none, and still you're allowed to like all of it. You're allowed to like parts of it. You want to see, and again, he makes an argument. He's not necessarily, he's passionate about it, so he wants it to get better. We all want it to get better, don't we? Don't we want it to be even better, continuously better? I'm sure Google does. Anyway, 15 minutes or so. Hopefully the prepare for preview works and I won't have to redo the vlog. Have a wonderful weekend. What are you doing this weekend? I'm talking so fast. It must be the coffee. Hopefully, if you watch this long, it's awesome. And rock and roll. Maybe I'll go sing a song or two for you. Enjoy your weekends, everybody, and thanks for your insight. I think all the conversations come out of this has been is why Google Plus is great, and what's been great about it, and graveyards and all that stuff. Go look at Aaron Wood. Shit people say on Google Plus, or shit Google Plusers say, which I had reshared recently because it was funny. He's a funny guy. He's annoyingly funny, but go check that out. See, circle Aaron Wood. You'll get some art. You get some humor. You'll get some obnoxiousness, entertainment. Obnoxiousness is a new word, and that's today's vlog. So enjoy your Caturdays, which, again, those kind of things, you can love it, you can hate it, but it's another part of the culture that that you don't necessarily see to the same degree other places, and it adds to the funny of it all, right? Funny equals winning.